Hi, and welcome to Anne's Family Recipe. Today I'm baking whoopie pies. Recently, in my York Fair video, which I'll link for you down below, I was talking about whoopie pies, which are a Pennsylvania Dutch staple dessert. Now, my sister lives in Amish country in like southeastern Pennsylvania, and she has a good friend who grew up in a Mennonite family. And the Amish and Mennonite communities are incredible cooks and bakers. My sister's good friend very kindly shared with me her family's long-standing traditional chocolate whoopie pie recipe, and I'm gonna make those for you today. In case you've never heard of a whoopie pie, it's kind of like the top of two cupcakes sandwiched together around this incredible vanilla cream. And of course, it comes in a ton of different flavors. Today we're keeping it totally classic with the chocolate cake cookie on the outside and the vanilla cream in the middle. But I've seen peanut butter cream in the middle. You could do like a coffee mocha cream. I've seen vanilla cake, pumpkin cake. That's one of my favorites. So you can try all different varieties. This recipe calls for 1 cup of sour milk or buttermilk. So I'm just gonna make my own today with about a tablespoon of white vinegar in this measuring cup, and I'm gonna top it off with my 2% milk here. You could use any kind of milk. This needs to sit for about 5 minutes, and the milk's gonna kind of thicken up and take on that tangy flavor of the vinegar. So I'll give it a quick stir. Next, we're gonna combine 2 cups of white sugar with 1 brick. This is 1 cup of vegetable shortening. So I'm just gonna add that in. I'm gonna pop this onto my stand mixer to start creaming it together, and then we'll add in some additional ingredients. To my sugar and shortening, I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract and then 2 eggs, which I've left out at room temperature. They just kind of incorporate a little bit better that way. Next, I'm whisking together my dry ingredients. So that starts with 4 cups of all-purpose flour, and to that I'm adding 1 cup of cocoa powder. And the recipe just calls for Hershey's chocolate cocoa powder, unsweetened, but I always have Hershey's Special Dark powder on hand. It just adds this incredible, oh my gosh, I just breathed in some of the cocoa powder. The Special Dark adds in this incredibly rich dark chocolate flavor. So if that's something that sounds appealing to you, definitely get some Special Dark cocoa powder for your pantry. But otherwise, the original recipe does call just for straight unsweetened cocoa powder if that's what you have on hand. To this, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 2 teaspoons of just regular table salt. I thought it would be a good idea to whisk this all together before adding it into the wet ingredients, because cocoa powder can tend to be a little bit lumpy, and we want to smooth that all out. Now I'm bringing the whoopie pie batter together. So I'm gonna start by adding about 1/3 of our dry ingredients into my stand mixer. I also grabbed a rubber spatula because I'm gonna need to scrape the sides of the bowl too, because you wanna get all of that sugar and shortening mixture incorporated into your flour. And then we're gonna alternate with each 1/3 of our flour mixture our 1 cup of sour milk, and then I also have 1 cup of very hot water. So that'll be the liquid that we incorporate in between each addition of flour. My batter is all mixed together, so now I'm going to use my medium-sized cookie scoop, and this is going to help me to have equal amounts of batter all on my pan. So according to the recipe, this will make 56 cookies, and of course you're going to sandwich those together, and they bake at 325 for about 8 to 10 minutes. Now my sister said that she uses her large cookie scoop when she makes these. This is the biggest cookie scoop that I have without using my ice cream scoop, which is more like a 1/4 cup of batter, which I think is gonna be too large. So I'll let you know if the baking time needs to be adjusted a little bit. But for now, I'm gonna get the batter on the trays. Also, I wanted to mention that I lined my baking trays with silicone baking mats. That way, the whoopie pies won't stick. Next, we're gonna make the filling. Now, like many family recipes, there weren't too many instructions that went along with this. So this is a little bit of an experiment. I know all of the ingredients and I've been told to mix one thing and then stir it into the rest. So I'm gonna try that out today and see how it goes. But this is kind of a unique frosting or filling recipe because it has an egg white meringue base and then you mix it into more like a buttercream kind of frosting that's shortening based. So if for any reason you're hesitant to eat the raw egg whites, maybe you're pregnant or you're feeding these to young children, you can definitely substitute in a buttercream frosting recipe or like a marshmallow fluff based frosting. Anything's gonna be good sandwiched between these cookies, which by the way, came out perfectly. They baked at 325 degrees for exactly 10 minutes. They're the perfect size. I was a little nervous they were gonna kind of spread together, but they came out just great. So I'm starting with 2 egg whites, which I'm gonna whip into stiff peaks or a meringue. So I'll just show you how I separate my eggs. You just crack it open and then you're gonna use the egg, if it opens, you're gonna use the egg shell to catch the yolk and you're gonna pass it back and forth in between the shell. Ooh, mine broke, but I think I got the egg white. Yeah, we're good. So our egg whites are whipped to a nice fluffy meringue. You saw those stiff peaks that I created. And now we're gonna mix together the rest of the ingredients. So that starts with 3/4 cup of vegetable shortening, 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. I'm gonna sprinkle that in now. A tablespoon of vanilla extract. And then it calls for 4 cups of powdered sugar and 4 tablespoons of milk. But I'm gonna add each one of those in one at a time. This filling's pretty thick, but I still have to add my whipped egg whites back in. So I'm sure that's gonna lighten it up a little bit. But if you need to, you can always add in an extra splash of milk. So here we go with the egg whites. Ooh, that's kind of cool. And then I'm just gonna whip this together as quickly as possible because I don't wanna deflate these beautiful egg whites. Good. So the final step is to assemble our Whoopie Pies. So I found 2 cookies. They're all about the same size, but you want to make sure that they can match up as evenly as possible. And I'm going to spread a pretty thick layer of filling right in the middle. Looks awesome. The cookies feel perfect, like the perfect texture. They're nice and fluffy and pillowy on the outside. Okay, and then we'll sandwich that together. You don't want to do too much because, of course, as you press it together, it's going to ooze out the sides a little bit. Now I'm going to give it a taste. Oh my goodness. These are good. Wow, okay, you have to make these. Traditional Pennsylvania Dutch Whoopie Pies from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. They are awesome. These cookies on the outside are so fluffy and really more like a chocolate cake, just out of this world delicious. And they have that Hershey's Special Dark Cocoa in them, so they're super rich and chocolatey. And then that cream on the inside has a really strong vanilla flavor, which I love. It's light and fluffy. These are amazing. Thank you so much to my sister's friend for sharing this incredible family recipe with us today. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up if you liked today's recipe, and follow me on Instagram at Ann's Family Recipe. Thank you so much for joining me today in my kitchen, and I'll see you again soon with another family recipe. So Jack was asking me,
why are these called Whoopie Pies?
Why are these called Whoopie Pies? And from what I read online, it's because when people eat them, they say, whoopee! So how do you guys feel about these Whoopie Pies?
They're good.
Yeah, they're good. You like it, Benny?
Yes.
Oh yeah, good.
I like the
Finger
chocolate.
looking good, Jack?
I like the chocolate bread. It's nice and chocolatey.
Awesome. Okay, enjoy.
Thank you.